Okay, there's lots of video tutorials out there on how to wrap a micro coil, so I didn't bother filming that part. Basically, I've took 28 gauge flat wire and I got a 5/6 wrap on it. You can see it's got a nice glows from the center. Okay, I wrapped that around it's got a 5/6 wrap on a .098 or 98 thousandths of an inch steel pin, a gauge pin. So what we're going to do now is lock this so it don't fire, and then we're going to build what I hope to be a taste testing dripper using an IGO-L. So what we'll do is we'll take our XC-116 and we'll start by finding my nippers. It always helps if you're prepared before you get started. Oh, I put them away where they belong. No wonder I can't find them. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this at a pretty, I don't know if you can see it. Oops, let me get it down here. A pretty steep angle. So what I wind up with is a cut much like a hypodermic syringe. I don't know if you can see that angle. Alright, this stuff doesn't fray. I love that part. So you get this angle cut. Now that makes it so much easier to thread. So I've already started with this coil, and what I want to do is I want to start from the outside and thread through the center. I've never tried to do this on camera before, so this will be interesting. Okay, so just kind of make sure it comes to a good point there and just work. Now normally I would use, with round wire, I would use a 0.1 hundred or a 1/10 of an inch diameter pin, simply because that seems to be giving me my best fit. But with this flat wire, tends to be springier. I have a considerable amount more trouble getting this flat wire to hold a tighter shape, and I want this to be very tight. Not tight, but I want it to be in contact with the canthal. So I just kind of rotate it, thread it through, and occasionally I might mess it up, so I'll have to go back and, like I did there. It doesn't fray, but you can, if you're pushing against the edge of something sharp like that that coil, you can cause it to separate the fibers, and then you have a hard time getting it to thread through there. Okay, you kind of got to back out, start, catch the edges, work your way through. Yeah. Okay. So rather than bore you to tears with this for the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna, anyway, you get the idea of what I'm trying to do, so I'm gonna pause this and I'll be back as soon as I get it threaded. Okay, and we're back, and as hopefully you can now see, I did manage to get that threaded through. Just kind of basically just have to keep working it from that point and just kind of pushing forward, working it, making sure you get the edges in. And now you can just kind of typically just kind of pull it on through however long you want. We're going to want to go a good ways with this time, because what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to come out. I want to be able to go around this post. Okay, if you can see that, and then I'm going to attempt to tuck it underneath the coil. So hopefully this will stay somewhat in focus as I do that. Now you can always pull it back, so don't be afraid to pull out the excess. I don't like to cut it to length before I've got it where I want it, because I like to be able to save as much of this as possible. Again, it's just a matter of working it through, kind of twisting it a little as you go. I want to get it, it's springy, but I want to get it up underneath that coil so we can make this taste tester. Now, one of the nice things about the XC-116 is the fact that it doesn't burn, at least not with anything that we're going to be using to vape with. The heat of the coil won't burn it, and that's when I tested it bare. See, I've messed up the end on that, so I am going to cut it off one more time, just a little bit. When I tested it bare, it tested at 1.1 ohms. So now, of course, when you add juice and you add wicking and stuff like that and space out the coils, that tends to change the resistance. But for now, we're looking at about a 1.1 ohm build, somewhere in that area, which is pretty close to what I wanted. It'd be nice if I could get it to a 1. Say up something like more closer to a 1.2 or 1.3 ohms, so I could use it on other mods and stuff. Now I'm going to try and cheat a little bit here and use a pair of tweezers that just, I suspect, won't fit. I'll try it the other way. No, these aren't going to fit between. Well, they might. Well, they will, but they won't open up. No space. Okay. So again, just kind of working with it until we get it down there where I want it, under between these posts and underneath that coil. Just got to be persistent in my pushing and pinching, and so you see what I'm doing and where I'm going with this. So we'll stop again when I get it on the other side, rather than waste a lot of time here. Okay, so I picked this back up just as soon as I was able to get that up underneath that coil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it through, and we're going to pull it over the top. So all of this is excess. I can pull that back out now. And what I want to do is just kind of snug that up around that post a little bit. Nice and snug there. So now I've got the coil. It's going through the coil, around the post, underneath the post, And with the rest of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply pull it up over top of the coil. And I'm just going to tie a little knot. So just kind of looping it through there. And I'm just going to tie a little knot. Not too snug. Right there. Right there. And the rest of this, I'm just going to kind of tuck down into that juice well a little bit. I'll rotate that knot back just a hair, and I'm going to trim this off right about there. Hopefully I don't lose my knot. It might have been too close. No, I got it. Excellent. Okay. Good and tight. Alright. So let's give it a fire. See what it looks like. Still seems to be glowing pretty good in there. I don't know. There you go, you can see that in there, nice. And there's that coil. Okay. Alright. So at this point, I am going to take it off the device. I've got it on a Bowway, a little 350 in it. And I just like using for builds and stuff. Occasionally I'll take it out for a stealth vape, but I don't use it as a vaping device very often. Going to use a Wick because it's just what I've got handy to test the resistance and see where my ohms fall on this thing now. It shows it at 1.0 ohms at this point. So I lost a little bit. You can see that at 1.0 ohms. So this won't fire. There's no way it's going to come up. If I try it, it's going to tell me it's an atomizer short, so it won't fire. But I might get a little bit of that back when I put the when I get it wet, so we'll see. So I guess the next step is to put it back on here with some juice. And again, the whole purpose in this particular build is to have a device. Try firing it again. Looks good. Oops. Yeah, I got a little bit of a hot leg there on top. I'll take off my glasses here. I don't know if you can see that. That little bit of a hot leg right there on top. And I think what we can do here is just snug that post down just a little bit more. Excellent. And all the hot legs gone away. Just snug that post down is all it really took. Okay. Lock that back up. Pull that tight. And let's get some juice. We're going to try a little Nirvana Vapor Body Berry Peach. And we'll just juice it up real good here. Now again, the nice thing is I'll be able to burn this flavor off and switch flavors rather quickly. So if I'm just tasting juices like I'm at a juice meter, you know, with some friends or whatever, and we're just tasting out juices. Let's see how that goes. There we go. Now we're starting to get some juice down in there. Okay, and this isn't going to be a cloud chaser by any means, and that's a high V or high PG juice. But let me get it drop right on that coil. That's a high PG juice, so that actually gives me, there we go, now we're getting some vapor. Alright, so I'm just gonna tuck this back down and around, get it out of the way. Tuck this under and get it out of the way. Now I can put the cap on it. It'll be hard to find out where to best line up the hole. I think right about the edge, the one place where I can actually see the coil. And I doubt you can see inside there, maybe. But you can see the coil. Actually, you can see the knot on top and the wraparound. So a good dripping in there should be able to soak that coil quite well. So we'll do that. We'll find a handy drip tip. Probably killed this battery by now. Okay, so we finished the build. I took it off of that little bowway and put it on a bagua and put it on my brass Chayu, and I haven't done anything. It's just the way it was when you last saw it, me dripping it and put the cap on. See, I'm not looking for clouds of smoke with this thing. What I'm looking for is taste and flavor for trying out juices. And it's running perfect for that. Now there are several things I can do when I want to change flavors. I can pull the drip tip off and just burn it. Of course that eats up battery. It's not too hot. Or I can just simply pull the top off. Torch it. Let it burn off the old juice. Now this isn't something that you would typically do with any other type of wicking material. I just let that burn till the flames burn out. Little flame there on the end. Poof, all gone. Yep, nice and red, nice cherry. There you go, see that glow? And now we're ready to go to our next juice. In this case, we'll try some Crackle Kringle. And again, you can drip straight through the cap. Get some on the coil there, or you can take it apart like this, and while you've got it apart, and burn off the old juice. Tuck that in a little bit. Line up my hole. Pop the top. Excellent. Now, the Crackle Kringle is kind of a delicate juice. It's kind of a marshmallow Rice Krispie treat thing, and I don't get any traces of the Nirvana Vapor Bodhi Berry Peach, which is a much stronger actual flavor than the Crackle Kringle. And that's what I'm looking for. Something that I can use just to taste test juices. So, another great success for XC-116. Y'all have a great day.